So, for all of you joining us, thank you so much for being patient with us. And we are here, and we are going to have a great night tonight. We have a wonderful guest to talk about one of my favorite topics to talk about, and that's religious trauma, because I've dealt with it myself. And so many of my friends and loved ones have gone through it as well. So tonight we're going to welcome him in just a little bit, but without further ado, we're going to bring on my Kat isn't here tonight. She was on live Tuesday, ready to go. She thought it was Thursday. I don't know what she was thinking, but she's not joining us evidently tonight. She hasn't shown up yet. Maybe she thinks tonight's Tuesday. I don't know. But we are going to bring on our guest right after this Daniel's desk part, which we love so much. In the journey of triumphing over trauma, conquering challenges, and finding happiness.
Hi there, it's Daniel again. Tonight, I want to share something very personal with you. I have been estranged from my birth family, from my parents, all siblings, aunts, uncles, for over 10 years. It was a heartbreaking decision. I noticed in the years that led up to this decision that I made, I did not see myself accurately reflected in the relationships I had with people that claimed to know me the best. People that had known me for their entire lives, I did not see myself accurately reflected in my relationship with them. So I made a very difficult decision to have no contact. And to this day, I do not regret that. It has been difficult. It has been empowering. It has been lonely. It's been lots of things. It's also been very enlightening. You see, there's parts of this journey I didn't anticipate. And one thing I did not anticipate is, see, I'm a very social person. I'm very extroverted. And so I thought, I'll walk away from this toxic mess of a family, as heartbreaking as it is, and get on with my life. But you know what I realized? I did not know how to connect to people anymore. You see, I'd been so deeply injured and so deeply emotionally wounded, I didn't trust any human being. I didn't realize that on a conscious level. So I found that when I would try to make new friendships, if they would disappoint me in some natural way, my instant thought and verbiage was, I walked away from my own parents. Why the fuck should I tolerate anything from you? Pretty harsh, right? It left me pretty alone too. I had to figure out how to make friends again. I had to figure out how to trust again. I had to figure out how to build my social support network again. And a lot of that came with a lot of self-discovery. I wasn't entirely pleased with who I'd become in this process of estrangement, kind of like a rebirth, if you will. It's been a very painful process. I just finished a book that I am so delighted to share with you all. It's called When the Bed Bugs Bite, and it's a personal memoir of my queer life. And in it, I talk about the estrangement process, what led up to it, and how to heal after the fact. I would be so honored to share it with you guys. It'll be on sale in approximately 3 to 4 weeks, and I'll be talking about it more and more. But please consider picking it up. I think there's a lot of valuable information in there on how to navigate friendships and how to find yourself again when you have to walk away from something so very painful, but yet it's all you know. Be kind to yourself. And if you don't see your accurate self being reflected in the relationships that you have in your life, that may be something to look at. You know what? Nature always finds a way. Like that dandelion growing in the crack of the sidewalk that I mentioned last week. Nature always finds a way, and so can you.
Yes, nature always finds a way, and so can you. We love that. Welcome to the show, Daniel.
Hey,
Mr. Kelty, how are you? Here we are. Good Lord, am I ever going to find a platform that's just seamless and no issues?
The show must go on. I mean,
the show must go on.
You know how it is. If glitches happen,
Yeah.
You just push through it.
Right, and acting all the years, you just go on. Just go, right. Just get it done.
When
get it done.
This is a line, you just go with it.
Right. So your book is coming out.
Yes. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I've been working on this book for about 3 years, and I've put it down and picked it up again, and put it down and picked it up again. And something like, for me, something this personal has been very painful to write because I have to relive it, right?
Yes.
And that I didn't anticipate that part of it, but it's been such a labor of love. And my children that my husband and I have adopted have
Right.
sort of been the icing on the cake of my healing process, and have helped me feel empowered, and they've just been amazing. So yeah, it'll be on
I
sale
love
in
that.
my children that my husband.
I love that. Well, I've got a couple things. It's not really spill the tea. It's not really new stuff. I guess it's just a little bit of both.
Yeah.
So the first one here. Let me pull this up. This first one is the 15 states that are the most dangerous to live in. We have Alabama, Missouri, Florida, Montana, South Dakota, Oklahoma, Arkansas. There's also, I believe, Louisiana, Mississippi, South Carolina, Wyoming, Indiana, Idaho, Tennessee, and the last is Texas. Those are the most dangerous states to live in. And do you know why?
Why?
They're all basically the same. These states have removed or banned freedom from LGBTQ individuals with laws including, but not limited to, non-discrimination laws in employment, housing, healthcare, education, public accommodations, or credit and lending. They've removed adoption or foster care, non-discrimination protection for LGBTQ parents, no second parent adoption for unmarried couples, conformatory adoption, nor recognition or parents using assisted reproductive technologies. The education system and youth policies instill a don't say gay, which I think is pretty gay in itself. In my opinion. But anyway, they're banning any and all discussion of LGBTQ identities in classrooms, banning trans students from participating in sports or using school facilities based on their identities. And this is the worst part. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
And requiring staff to forcibly out those students who are part of the LGBTQ plus community to their parents or guardians. These states also have no gender affirming care for youth. It has been banned, and hate crimes no longer encompass sexual orientation and gender identity.
This is
the advocate
so awful.
It is. It's scary. The advocate also gave dishonorable mentions to other states that ranked below average, which include Alaska, Arizona, Georgia, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Nebraska, North Carolina, Utah, West Virginia, and good old Ohio. I just am like, I don't know.
And you know, honestly, this is a very slippery slope because all the red states needed was someone to give them permission. Just give them permission.
Was it.
That's all you needed. And it's so dangerous for so many people, not just queer people, but when we start saying, what kind of people are allowed to exist and what kind of people are not allowed to exist, our whole fabric of society is based on our diversity and learning from one another. And I'm really afraid what that's going to bring.
It is, and a lot of Supreme Court judges and state federal judges, they're saying too bad. They're overriding, they're voting it out. Whatever they do with their power, what is it called? They overturn it.
Right, they not veto, but they block it.
You block it. Yeah. So the Illinois governor, J.P. Pritzker, I think is how you say Pritzker. He had a lot to say about Trump's LGBTQ plus erasure and rising authoritarianism. In a blistering speech, I don't know if you heard this.
I've not.
It was in the past at the second congressional, the Democratic. My mind's just drew a blank what it's called. You know what I'm talking about.
The congressional hearing. Yes.
Yeah, where they can talk. So he stood up and this was what he had to say. And it is like, we need to listen to this every day.
That tears apart your house's foundation begins as a seed of distrust and hate and blame. The seed that grew into a dictatorship in Europe a lifetime ago didn't arrive overnight. It started with everyday Germans mad about inflation and looking for someone to blame. I'm watching with a foreboding dread what is happening in our country right now. After we've discriminated against, deported, or disparaged all the immigrants and the gay and lesbian and transgender people, the developmentally disabled, the women and the minorities, once we've ostracized our neighbors and betrayed our friends, after that, when the problems we started with are still there staring us in the face, what comes next?
What comes next? When he says that, it gives me chills.
History lurk in the answer to that question. And if we don't want to repeat history, then for God's sake, in this moment, we better be strong enough to learn from it.
Yeah.
My oath is to the Constitution of our state and of our country. We don't have kings in America, and I don't intend to bend the knee to one.
Good for him.
If you think I'm overreacting and sounding the alarm too soon, consider this. It took the Nazis 1 month, 3 weeks, 2 days, 8 hours, and 40 minutes to dismantle a constitutional republic. And all I'm saying is that when the 5-alarm fire starts to burn, every good person better be ready to man a post with a bucket of water if you want to stop it from raging out of control.
Yeah.
How
pretty scary. Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm so glad that he spoke out against that the way that he did. He had no fear. Excuse me. And lastly on our list, this one I came across today, and it kind of just like it made me, I don't know. You can't change history. You can't.
Right?
You can't change it. We can't change any part of history. It happened. It's there. Let it be. No matter what the future holds, history is there. You can't erase things.
You know, something else that's happening currently, and like I live in a real small rural part of Ohio, as you know, and you know, I have some of my high school clients tell me what's going on in their schools, and they aren't being informed. They aren't being informed of what's happening.
Really?
Yeah, and they're not allowed to talk about politics at school. They can't even mention the word abortion. Can't even mention the word, or they'll get suspended.
Wow.
It is just absolutely insane.
This part of history that has just been erased. It's the National Park Service has removed pages dedicated to historic transgender activists Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera, just 3 weeks after it removed all references to trans people from the Stonewall National Monuments website. These are the people who made the movement for gay rights, everybody. Along with the removal of the duo best remembered for the participation during the Stonewall riots, NPS has removed the T from the LGBTQ plus acronym, as well as any reference to trans people for the official Stonewall National Monument website just last month. They have done this by changing the NPS's website introduction that read, before the 1960s, almost everything about living openly as a lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or queer LGBTQ plus person was illegal. It now reads, before the 1960s, almost everything about living openly as a lesbian, gay, bisexual, LGB person was illegal. LGBTQ plus history is history, period. It should remain represented at national parks and on National Park Service websites so that people all over the world can learn about it from the best of the best in history preservation.
Yes.
These actions are an attempt to erase history. There's another one. It's sick.
This is really
absolutely
personal
sick
to a lot of us for a lot of reasons, obviously, but the whole adoption foster thing really breaks my heart because you know with our first adoption, my husband had to adopt as a single man before marriage equality, and so on paper he was the only parent to the boys, and then when we got my daughter, we were able to adopt together, and it was so validating, and it took so much work for us to get into that courtroom, and you know, just to be told by some stupid executive order, oh, you no longer have this right, it is completely heartbreaking.
It is. It
But we
is.
can't be complacent. We have to fight. We have to be
That's
out
right.
there protesting.
We got to get our bricks. Get our bricks, people. Man, I said it, Angel. When I say it, I got a whole backyard full of bricks. My whole back patio is brick. I will start digging them up tomorrow. Listen, I will take them.
I took our boys to Greenwich Village, where Stonewall is in New York, when they were little, and I remember explaining to them, this is the Stonewall bar, this is why it's important, this is where things started, and I was like weeping. Of course, I'm a crybaby anyway, but just the moment
you can feel it.
Yeah, and to teach my child, who I thought I would never have, this place is monumental, and this is where the birthrights began for us to be a family. How amazing and beautiful is that?
Yeah, it really is. It's beautiful. We're going to go to commercial break real quick, and then we'll be back with our guest. I'm so excited to have him on tonight. He is a well-renowned person, has classes, has his own podcast. I took one of his classes, and we'll hear about everything that he has to offer for gay Christian men who have are out there that have been traumatized. We'll be back after these few messages. Hey everyone, it's me, Mona Lotz. I'm always asked where I get my beautiful necklaces from. Since I received my very first Z nearly 3 years ago, that answer is simple. Well, I wouldn't compliment my costumes with any other thing than paparazzi. And Team BFF is the consultants of consultants. Steve and Monica will do everything they can to get you the jewelry you desire. And within no time, they become like family. Look them up on Facebook. Team BFF by Paparazzi. I don't know where my social media would be if it wasn't for Kish Photography. They offer various photo sessions with out-of-the-box experience by capturing your photographs at select locations that are not confined by walls. Angel also has various sceneries, flowers, and animal prints ready to purchase as well. Kish Photography. Are you looking for a gift so unique that we promise they have never gotten before? Well, look no further than Shady Pines Alpacas, where we promise their alpaca apparel and accessories will wow you and those being gifted. Check out Rowan Kelty's handcrafted beanie hats for something warm and priceless. Not looking for clothing? No problem. Then try out their homemade goat milk soaps and skincare line. Or order one of their unique and eye-catching jewelry pieces. And if that still doesn't appeal to you, then how about some stained glass art crafted and designed by Daniel Kelty? These pieces of art are breathtaking. Shop online today at www.shadypinealpacas.com or stop in and shop in person. The Alpacas and the Keltys will be happy to see you. Shady Pines Alpacas.
Welcome to Lotz Productions, a media company specialized in bringing your visions to life. We offer professional services to tailor everyone's needs and price range. Looking for a website creator, but just don't have thousands of dollars to spend with our competitors? We have sites starting as low as $350 that are sure to give you just what you need for web exposure. Or maybe you are looking for clean and eye-catching ads for your social media. Our ads have been used in countless venues across the nation advertising concerts, memorials, and pageants. We also have every office essential need like letterhead and email signatures. The sky's the limit. If merchandise creation is what you are after, or even voiceover videos, then we are the one for you. Contact us today to schedule a free consultation, and we can begin the partnership of creating your dreams into a reality.
Well, welcome back from that little quick little commercial break from all of our sponsors. We love them and thank them for everything that they do for us. Just before we bring on our guests, I just wanted to do a little where is Mona going to be at coming up in the near future. This Saturday, you can join me in Warren, Ohio. We're doing a benefit show for Denise Russell and Jay. Who has been diagnosed with cancer. And then it'll be Mercedes Tavern in Akron on the 13th, the 23rd at Music Box in Cleveland, April 6th at District in Cleveland, April 26th in Indiana, PA at the Gala for Pride there. May 4th, I'll be at Cocktails in Akron. And then June 20th, going to be at Feinstein's at Hotel Carmichael in Carmel, Indiana, which is by Indianapolis, by some of my family. I'll get to see them. It's going to be a great time. Can't wait. Is there a thought?
June 14th is the Pride in Indiana, Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I knew I was forgetting one. June 14th, I will be at Pride in Indiana, Pennsylvania as well with Cat Piss. Can't wait for that. Super excited. So you want to come out and see me? Come out and see me. I gotta get down there by you, Daniel, somehow.
I know. It's kind of a road trip, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm excited for this weekend, though. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're going to be there.
Yep.
Danielle's going to be there. We've got some great entertainment. I'm excited. Ricky Mortis will be there. Daniel Ivy Valentino, Valerie Valentino. Yeah, good show. Yeah. So without further ado, it's time to bring on our guest. He is a renowned individual. I ran across him on a Facebook ad, I think it was, seeing a class about if you are, a gay man who's been traumatized, this is, come to this seminar kind of thing. It was right in the daytime. Signed up, and I went, and it was like so amazing, so amazing. And then I just reached out to him, and I was like, "Hey, I think you would be a great guest on the show because we reach out to people, and we have so many people who have been traumatized by the church." By religious people, by what have you, and he like quickly responded, and I was so happy. And then I'm like looking at all of his pictures and stuff because when he's talking in the class, I wasn't like like staring at him, like
paying attention, Mona.
And I was like literally paying attention and writing notes and stuff. But I kept looking at his pictures. I'm like, where do I know this guy? Well, he's been on TV, like so many places.
I didn't know that because I found him the same way on Facebook, but I had on TV.
I was just like, oh my gosh. And then I started, I went to his website and stuff, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And he's an author. He's a motivational speaker. He is all these things wrapped up in one beautiful person. Welcome, Eric Feltis, ladies and gentlemen. Yay.
Oh my gosh. Can you introduce me in every room I walk into?
Oh, yes, I would love to.
Can you call me renowned one more time?
Renowned.
Oh my God. Keep going. I'm good. I got everything I needed. You guys have a good night. Thanks so much.
We've built you up and we've made you just your head will go through the wall.
God, I feel
How are you doing out in California?
You look a little, Mona, you look a little different than you did on that workshop.
I know, right?
Your hair's a little bigger.
A little bigger hair.
It's interesting. I actually don't live in California anymore. I lived in LA for 8 years. I moved to Atlanta about 9 months ago.
Oh, wow. What made the move?
I would like to have money.
Right?
That's all.
Yep.
LA is incredibly expensive. I loved it. I love the people there. I definitely when you were talking about the not super safe states, of course Georgia's on there. So I was definitely nervous about moving to a red state, but I will say that Atlanta's clean, it's walkable, it's affordable, and it's super open and affirming. The first coffee shop I went to is attached to the building I was staying in, because you don't know, and I understand LA's kind of a liberal bubble. The first coffee shop I went to, there was a trans rights sticker, and I was like, okay, I picked the right neighborhood. We're in a good place.
Yeah. Great. So how did this all come about? Your workshops that you do, what influenced you to make this move into being a motivational speaker and a life coach for people that have been hurt from the church?
Trauma. That's it.
Period. Right.
They say that, there are people who, what do they say? People who are afraid of hell believe in religion. People who have been to hell and lived to tell about it believe in spirituality.
Yeah.
which isn't, we don't need to be that binary. You can believe in both if you want. But my point is that I feel as if I went through hell here on earth, as I'm sure a lot of us have, right? I grew up Catholic and evangelical.
Absolutely.
That I can't tell you the number of times I cried myself to sleep, praying God either end my life or make me straight.
Same.
Yeah. It's funny
Yeah.
you said that because, well, not funny, haha, but it's interesting you said that because, a lot of people joke when they hear that I work with gay men that have been burned by the church, and they say, well, that sounds redundant, right? Because so many
Yeah.
of us have been burned by the church.
Yeah.
There's a verse in the Bible that talks about how, you can be transformed by the renewal of your mind. And so I really leaned into that growing up, and I thought, well, then God can change me, right? So I thought, okay, I believe these were the stackings of my beliefs, right? The bricks of my being, right, at the time, right? So I believe that God could do anything. I believe that homosexuality was wrong. That's what I learned. I believe that, therefore, if I pray hard enough, I will be transformed by the renewal of my mind. And so shame comes into play. Shame is this belief that you are bad, right? So what happened was I started believing, oh, I'm not praying hard enough, or I'm not enough, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not masculine enough. Therefore, I am still gay. That's why I'm gay, right?
It's your fault. Yeah.
Exactly. And let's talk. I
Right.
think coming out involves the stages of grief. We're in denial.
Yeah.
And there was a long period of anger, right? And then I realized, oh, I think my body is telling me I need to do something about this. So that's a semi-short version of like how I got into this is I don't ever want another person to go to bed feeling like they're anything less than beautiful in the eyes of God, as in because of who they are.
Good for you.
And I can relate to that, laying in bed every night, like praying, like you said, God, just take me. Just take me. Let me pray my sins away and just take me in my sleep, because I don't know how to change this.
Yeah.
And I struggled with that up until just a couple of years ago.
Wow.
Where I was in a church, mind you, and it was Pentecostal, non-denominational, very Pentecostal. The pastor was, his wife was more non-denominational. He was more Pentecostal. So you have to take the non-denominational because the wife, that's her thing, so.
Right.
But I learned who God was, like, in that first service there. Like, I felt him, even though I was a worship leader and a children's pastor and, ordained minister. I knew who he really was just sitting in the back of that auditorium that day. And he was like, I'm not the person that, you've been made to think that I am. I'm not this evil, want to kill you, hate you. I learned the love of God, that the Christian people, the people were the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In a big way.
Yeah.
100%. And it's a business, right? I mean, not all, but many churches follow the business model of problem, agitate, solve. This is what we do in our business. You have a problem.
Yeah.
This is how bad it is. Let's solve it, right? So in the church is problem, original sin, which, by the way, original sin was invented in the 14th century. But there's original sin. You're a sinner. Sinner's in the hands of an angry God. God is angry at you. God is jealous. All of that crap, right? Agitation. If you don't change, you're going to hell. I mean, the stakes could not be higher than burning in the fiery pits of hell for eternity. There's nothing that could be scarier. And so the solve is come to our church, give us money, sit in our pews. If you're gay, you can't lead, but you can give us your money. You're welcome.
Yeah. You're welcome here.
And that fear,
but you can't do
Eric,
anything. Yes.
That fear is such an important component of that recipe, because as you well know, when you learn to take the fear out of it and you use your rational mind, you're like, wait a minute. It doesn't even make sense to punish someone forever for something they can't correct. It's an infinite punishment that makes no sense whatsoever.
It feels insane now, doesn't it?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it does.
Like, how did I believe that? And it's because it's all we knew.
It's all we knew.
And people that we love and trusted said, this is fact, and you got to fix it.
And I also, if I may just interject here, because I want to give credit to anyone who still feels those things, because it's okay and you're welcome in this space too, right? Let's remember that a belief is nothing more than a thought that you repeat over and over and over and over until sometimes you don't question it. And as children, we have really high levels of intuition and very low levels of critical thinking. So we absorb everything into our DNA, right? So a lot of men come to me and they go, logically, I know being gay is not wrong, but there's this residue in my heart that I can't scrub clean up. And I'm like, beautiful. Oh my God, are you in the perfect space for this? Right. So if you're listening, you're like, I want to believe what they're saying, but I don't. You're in the right place. Acknowledgement is 80% of the work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a really good point, Eric. It's when you start to feel that conflict, that's a good place, because that means that pieces are moving, right? And you can see that there's a conflict, and it's time. Your body and your soul is telling you it's time to change something.
Let's do something about this.
Yeah, very good.
Now, what is your structure like for you have these open, what are they? Like I attended, it's like an open kind of seminar.
Sure.
What you call it, a webinar, what have you. Tell everybody like your structure of what you offer.
Yeah. Great question. So everything we do is supported by 3 pillars of connection. We have the pillar of self. It's more love. It's less worry. It's more motivation. It's filling up your own cup, and if you hear, I will say some people hear that and think, oh, that's selfish. We're supposed to like pick up our cross. Okay, fine. Well, Jesus also says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. And I think it's beautiful how that's written, right? As yourself means it's an assumption that we're already loving ourselves. Filling up your own cup is actually a Christian ideal, right? So we start by fully loving all of who we are, right? The second pillar is the pillar of higher power. And I want to be very clear here, y'all. This is not a religious institution, and it's not a religious organization, okay? I simply work with men who have experienced religion. Some of my clients find that higher power in the brick and mortar of a church. Some never want to step inside a church again. I honor all paths, right? But what this is recognizing whatever higher power means to you, that your queerness is a gift. And this came from, I had a spiritual awakening one night where I felt the presence of God. And I recognized that the more I was loving myself, the more I felt seen and loved by God. So it's shifting into a place of recognizing that we can celebrate who we are in the eyes of God. And then the third pillar is the pillar of others. It's community. It's what we're doing now, right? Shame tells us that we're alone in this and that you can't share any of this with anyone. That's why community is the antidote to shame, right? So we build each other up by hearing each other, by listening. The number of times on my group calls that I'll go, can anyone resonate with that? And every hand goes up and you just see the tension melt away. Like, oh, I'm not the only one anymore, right?
Yeah.
This is to your point of the introduction. I'm going to get fired up. This is why they're erasing the backbone of the queer community, which is the trans community, because they have had the audacity over the years to speak up and to be who they really are, right? I could, if I absolutely had to, quote unquote, butch it up and survive in a gas station in Podunk, wherever, right? Some people can't, like parts of the trans community can't do that, right?
Right.
So we need all of us, and we need to be speaking up so we realize that we're actually more powerful than we realize.
Yeah.
So those are the 3 pillars of connection. I have a 10-week program called the Shame-Free Gay Life Program. I have a year-long program called the Pride Academy, designed to elevate you to that level of leadership in the queer community. And then about once a month, I do low-cost, sometimes free workshops like the one you attended, Mona.
Oh, you had to tell everybody that I went to the free one. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I said, I don't know. Maybe you came to the low-cost one.
I'm just kidding.
You cheapskate?
No, that's wonderful. Like that there's just so much out there. And you're right, because we do need to stand up. We need to, first of all, stop fighting amongst ourselves.
No, period. God damn.
That's where we need to
swear
start.
On this?
Yeah,
absolutely. You can say whatever you want. Obviously, Daniel said "fuck" in his opening thing.
Watch your fucking mouth, Daniel.
Professional.
Can I say something about that? Because one of my biggest pet peeves is particularly white cis gay men who are anti-trans. Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
They have no idea. We would not be where we are today.
Right.
We think things are bad now. We wouldn't be here today if it weren't for the trans community.
And that's what it was when I was reading that article about Martha B. Johnson and Sylvia. It was just, I mean, that's what they said. Like, if they never existed, if they never went out there, and and some writings have said that Martha B. Johnson said they weren't there when the brick was thrown. They came afterwards. Who cares? Oops, I got a little excited there. Who cares? Who cares? But they made a movement and they kept it going. After those bricks were thrown, they were not setting down. They're like, we've started it. We're not going until it's done.
And also, those 2 beautiful women are symbols of a much larger community, right? Yes, we use them as examples. They were not the only ones.
Right. Oh, there were even trans men there that that day and stuff. So it's just and it just broadens into today of all the beautiful people that we know. Just, why do we care? Why do we care?
And see,
Yeah.
this is why we need history taught in schools, not just American history, but all of American history and queer and lesbian history and transgender history, because I see a lot of queer people in my practice that have no idea what Stonewall was, who Harvey Milk
Yeah.
was. And I'm like, oh my God, you have to understand what got us here. You've got to understand this.
Yeah.
Because when you don't, it's easier to believe the homophobic rhetoric that they hear at home.
Or take for granted the rights we have.
Sure, absolutely.
Right, and that's what we said. We a couple weeks ago we had my good friend Danielle, who's a performer in part of the trans community, and I believe she's watching right now too. I saw her say hi.
Yes.
We were talking about how relaxed everything got, and then people started going just a little too overboard with like, I'm a cat, and I'm a this, and I'm that, what have you. But I think maybe we're like at that. I said we're at that reset, where we're like shaking up our community, is getting
Right.
shooken up, like settle down a little bit,
Yeah.
hopefully that's
Focus.
where we're at. Yeah, focus a little bit, not like but you're not going to wipe us out. You can't wipe away. There's more of us than I think of everyone, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it's like, I've seen so many performers and stuff like, hey, cisgender women out there, quit wearing our faces on your face.
Right.
I mean, scroll through TikTok and see how many times you see a straight woman advertising kimchi's makeup and powder and everything else. It is like every other ad is kimchi, kimchi, kimchi. Guess what? She's not a real woman, people. And it's just like you can't pick and choose. You can't be like, oh, well, I'm against it, but I'm going to buy your makeup.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's like pre-marriage when women would have their bachelorette parties in a gay
Right.
bar without
All the time.
realizing
They still
how
do.
offensive that was. Yeah.
They still do, and they're annoying.
I was a bartender when I was in grad school, so that really resonates.
I can't imagine. Yeah, infuriating.
Yeah.
So annoying. I worked at a winery for a long time too, and they'd come in there with the big inflatable penises, and I'm like, why is this okay? Like,
Right.
there's children around, but who knows? We're off topic.
But we're the ones sexualizing children.
Right, exactly.
Excuse me.
My one of the things that I mentioned in my book is when my first light went on, like my light bulb, where I was like, wait a minute. When I first got stationed on this ship when I was in the Navy, and there was a crew of 2,000 people on this ship. So statistically speaking, there's going to be a gay population, that amount of people. And when my gaydar clicked on, I realized that there were people from all walks of life who just happened to be queer that I was on this boat with, and I was like, holy crap. Like, maybe I'm okay.
Yeah.
And that was a terrifying thought. Like, maybe I'm okay. Gotta find your light bulb, man. Find your light bulb.
Now, Eric, do you have any what's one of the most I don't want to say absurd, the biggest story that you have? Can you tell us something like of hope, like, so that people just think of, well, maybe I just am too far lost to be helped. Or I'm too,
And it's not even so much one story. So I'm just going to start talking and you can be like, cool, Eric, we get it. Because I have so many are going to come to my mind. I just love so much what I do. I've worked with men as young as 21. I've worked with men in their late 70s. My current oldest client is 78. I had a client once who was in his mid 60s that came to me with early onset dementia because he said, it's finally time for me to love myself before I forget everything. And he was with me for about 6 months before he had to stop because he wasn't able to talk anymore. I mean, squeezing every moment out of life. I mean, to me, I just think that's so inspirational. My client who is, I have a client who's 67 right now. No, I'm sorry. He's 69 right now. When he came to me about 3 years ago, he had been out of the closet for 6 years, never had sex with a man ever, ex-wife, 2 children with this woman. And he said, Eric, I want to be intimate with a man for the first time. 2 weeks into the program, that happened. And that's because we just get in our own way. right? He found his own community. He started going on dates. And so all we had to do was remove some of those blocks to make that happen. The first
Yeah.
step is taking a leap and saying yes to yourself. But it's funny, whether or not you're 21 or you're 78, one thing I hear from so many men is it's too late for me. And I think it's important to impress upon everyone that it is never too late to live the life that you are meant to live.
Yeah.
My
Right.
clients are examples of that on a daily basis.
I was thinking that, like, how sad for a 78-year-old to have lived 78 years not being happy or true to themselves, but at least he's going to.
There is,
You know.
I love my clients in their 20s, don't get me wrong, but I will also say that when you're in your 20s, you don't fully yet, I'm projecting a little bit because I know I didn't, but you kick the can down the road. You think time is
Yeah.
infinite.
Oh yeah.
Right. And that's
Absolutely.
okay. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, you're still a kid, I think. Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
do that, live your life. But the older you get, the more you realize that time is very finite and that time is incredibly precious because we don't get it back. It's the one resource we never get back.
Never.
And I think that when you're older, like you are a client in your 60s or 70s, in their 60s or 70s, I love working with them because every moment is so beautiful and magical because it's so precious.
Yeah. That's a
Yeah.
good point.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Absolutely.
How long have you been doing the workshops, Eric?
Workshops for about not 3 years. I would say the workshops for about a year and a half, 2 years. And one reason I started them is because I want to be able to help as many people as I can. More than anything else, my goal is always for anyone to walk away knowing that this is possible. It's figure outable. By first acknowledging what's holding you back and then putting together a plan. So even if like an hour workshop isn't a silver bullet, I want people to walk away knowing that, okay, there is a way for me to do this. Additionally, I started doing this because I wanted to build a community and to build trust. It's a very ironic position to be a gay man helping other gay men who have a hard time connecting with gay men. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when people say no to, for example, the 10-week program, not always, sometimes it's legitimate and not everyone's right for it. That's why we do a long vetting process before. But what I hear from so many people is that what's holding them back from doing it is the same reason they're in my room in the first place. They don't trust themselves. They don't trust me as a gay man. They don't feel connected to the gay community. They feel hopeless. But those are all the same reasons that brought you here in the first place. So I think
Yeah.
a workshop is a great way, just like this is a great way to like connect as a human.
Yeah. Right. And there's been so many, just as much trauma as people have experienced with religion and what have you.
In the gay
there's so much
community.
trauma that we have experienced within our own community.
I hear that more than anything. More than anything, people say, I don't belong in the church. I'm too gay for church and I'm too Christian for the gay community. And if you're not Christian, maybe it's I'm not gay enough for the gay community, or
Skinny enough.
Oh my God. Or like, I don't know how to top or bottom, or I can't stay hard, or I struggle with premature ejaculation, or no one would ever want to date me, or there's not a single gay man within 5 miles. If you want to find evidence as to why you don't belong, you're going to find it 10 out of 10 times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
absolutely right.
I think what makes it also hard is there's so much gatekeeping in our community, sort of snarkiness and not welcoming new people. And I hear a lot of my clients say that, I went to a gay bar and I don't fit in because people were mean or people weren't very welcoming. And I'm like, yeah, that's part of our culture that we're working on, that we're really trying hard. And we're all aware of it, right? But I don't think we're all aware of how we contribute to it.
Absolutely. There's hierarchy in our community. I think part of it has to do with, well, if I'm going to be, you hurt people, right? So if I'm going to be oppressed outside, it gives me a level of sense of importance if I can oppress someone below me in my own community.
Right.
Yeah, that's well said on that. Yep. Absolutely.
I'm so glad there are people like you doing this work, Eric. I just want to tell you.
Likewise. I'm so glad that you're both doing what you're doing right now. Thank you. Thanks for letting me be a part of it too.
Absolutely. We appreciate it. There's just, it's with my own stuff. Like, just when I decided to do this, come back, I did a year of just talking to drag queens and what have you on here. And then my work overtook. When I came back almost 2 years later and decided to do this, we're in our 4th season now, but I said, I don't want it to be just talking about, I want to help people. What's the purpose of just getting on here and drinking a drink and a bottle of wine and laughing with a drag queen. We can see that at the bar. You know, I want it to be helpful because, and we've been told, you know, so many times that, you know, someone has ran across this video out of nowhere, you know, of our podcast, and it's helped them in some way, and or they'll be like, oh, this looks fun, and it kind of pulls them in, and then they'll look at past episodes and find one. My own cousin was sitting here. We were doing a narcissistic relationship episode, and she's sitting here the whole time watching the show, and she's like, that's me. My boyfriend is narcissist. And he was like at the point of like ready to kill her. Like literally, like he was driving like 95, 100 miles an hour down the freeway. It was like, I will kill us right now, like the week before. You know, like that's what we want. If just one person is helped with every episode, that's all that matters. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I just think that the faith, religion, Christian, whatever word we're going to use for the blanket statement, is so important to talk about in the queer community because it's the very thing that's weaponized against us.
100%.
It's the first thing that's weaponized against us.
Yeah, and people, you know, yes, and again, to reiterate, some people go back to church, some people don't. But what I want to impress upon people is that you get to choose what you want to do.
Absolutely.
Right? It's no one else's place to tell you anything about your relationship with God, and anyone that does is just projecting their own insecurities onto you.
Yes.
I think that people hate us because we remind them that we are liberated. And I think that's intolerable for some people that use the Bible as a rule book for what they can and cannot do, as a way of avoiding hell in the afterlife. And what they're doing is creating hell for themselves here on earth.
Yeah, that's a good point. And you know, they'll pick and choose.
Oh, 100%.
We're going to look at this part of the Old Testament, but we don't use the Old Testament. You know, when you come with them, with the Old Testament, we don't use that. We don't look at that anymore.
Oh my gosh, Mona, there was someone, and sometimes I just like asking questions because I find it funny that popped into my DMs. And anytime anyone starts with, hey brother, can we have a conversation? What the fuck? No, we can't. But okay. So I go yes for this time. And he's telling me Leviticus and this and that. And I just keep asking questions, and he's just getting frustrated because I was just pointing holes in his theory. And he goes, I have to stop talking to you because you are tempting me. You were trying to pull me away from God. I was like, whatever, bro. Like, whatever you need to say to yourself. But like,
whatever.
It's because if they have to question, that's so scary to them. What a scary world to live in. It's so fragile, that existence.
Yeah, it is.
The structure of organized religion does not teach nor promote critical thinking.
Amen.
Not at all.
Because they need to control you.
Right.
You have to think this way and this way only.
Same with MAGA. It's exactly what we were talking about before. That's why they're erasing people that question. That's why Trump is trying to arrest people and pull funding from colleges that allow people to
peacefully protest.
Thank you. Peacefully protest. Yes, that. It's scared. They're scared.
It is fear. You're absolutely right. It's just every day I go, where are we at?
I don't even know. What timeline are we in right now?
Yeah. Like, where are we? Like, didn't we already go through this? Didn't we already live all of this? It's just.
Yep, I know.
I don't know.
We're right back here again.
But you know what? The change comes from us, right? The change comes from within.
Does.
Whether we're talking about the queer community at a gay bar or the Supreme Court. Whatever change we're looking at, it starts from within. So how can we get into the eye of the storm as opposed to being a part of the storm? And that's the work that we're doing here. And it's the work that I do in the program as well.
See, Eric, that's why you're good. That's why you're good right there.
Not always, Daniel, but I appreciate the compliment.
It's because he's renowned.
Yeah, right. I am. God damn it.
Now I want to touch on a little bit of your acting and such, because Shameless. That's why I was like, I know this face for somewhere, and I was scrolling through all the stuff on here, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's where it is, Shameless, because I loved that show.
Yeah, I did too.
It was I mean, if that's not American Family, I don't know what is. You know, we've all had that neighbor, have we not? Or been in, or have that cousin, you know, that aunt and uncle. We've all.
Well, also, I'm from Chicago, so like, I'm like Chicago pride. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. Nice. So, first of all, I want to know where this picture, not this one.
Oh God, I'm so nervous.
Where is that one from?
You did not warn me about this.
So this is from. So what is this from? Is this just like some modeling that we did here? Or?
Yeah, that was from Chicago. That was one of my first photo shoots.
Love it, love it.
Thank you very
And
much.
You stop on your page on that picture quite, you're like,
Oh,
it's
thank you so
something.
much.
So this was The Substitute.
Yeah, Substitute was a web series that I wrote and produced based on my own experiences as a substitute teacher. So I was a full-time
Really?
teacher, Spanish and theater, and then when I started to pursue acting before life coaching became anything, I was a sub in Chicago. And I just gathered so many. I would just every day post a new Facebook status about like something that some kid said, and they
Yeah,
were just getting so many likes and laughs because kids say funny shit. And
yeah.
so I was like, oh, this could be something. So I created a snippet of like 1 to 3 minute episodes of just based on things that children said to me.
And you can find this on
That is on YouTube.
YouTube.
Yes.
Awesome.
And now what is this? Were you in Saw? What?
Oh my God. That's from okay, this is fun. That was a 10-day shoot. That is called Avengers Grimm Time War. And it's exactly as terrible as it sounds. And it was
Yeah.
and it's so bad and it's so good. So you guys can watch. I think
have
it's
to
on
watch
Amazon Prime. Avengers
Okay.
Grimm
Is
Time War. And I play Rumpelstiltskin.
Rumpelstiltskin, yes.
Oh, what a great character.
Oh, it was so much fun. I love being
had
the
to be
evil
fun.
guy. Gays, look at Disney. Gays are always the
Right.
evil ones.
Always
Ursula,
evil.
Scar,
I love
Jafar.
playing the evil.
And I love it. And that's
And why are they usually British?
because maybe gay people, maybe
Did
it's
you ever notice that?
maybe it's like a
Like,
gay
villains are
thing. I
always
don't know.
British. I don't get it.
Because we're proper. I don't know.
I hear something. And here you are on Shameless. Now explain your role for those people who may have watched it and remind them who
This
you
was
were.
recorded and it was during a time that's called the pandemic. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
It feels like 15 years ago. So this was actually in the series finale. It's the last episode that was filmed in the bar that's owned by I can't remember their names, but the interracial couple that have children, right? And so they own the bar and they're selling the bar to move to another state to be closer to her mom. And so you can call me a gentrifier. Let's just call it what it is. I'm buying the bar to turn it into a tanning salon. So when I did the audition, I actually the role is like 4 lines, right?
Yeah.
There was very little description. Just says man is buying the bar to turn it into tan. So that was literally all it said. It was a narration, and so I was like, that sounds pretty gay to me, but it doesn't specifically say that I like boys. So I just sent in 2 takes. The gay one and the straight one, whatever the hell that means. And they never asked when I got on set which one they wanted. So I'm like, obviously, I'm doing the gay one.
Of course.
The gays are taking over the neighborhood, you know?
Yeah, right. Because they're going to make it better, right? That's what we
Always,
do.
always, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God.
I mean, what a great night. I hope that our audience out there receives something from this or will receive something. Watch it again. Reach out to Eric if you'd like. I'm going to put his website up once again down there at the bottom. You can actually just click the link. It'll take you right to his website. It's very nice. So yes, and watch what he's got coming up. Eric, what I like to do is before we leave, I like to ask our guest to give us something to live by, or leave the show with something for us to remember.
Absolutely. Of course. I mean, first and foremost, thank you again. It's such an honor to be here. And I just want to acknowledge that what you're doing is important. The conversations you're having is important. And so thank you. And thanks for letting me be a part of it. If this resonated with anyone, there's really no pressure, but you don't even have to know what to say. Find me on Instagram. I'm Eric Feltus. My name's right there. DM me the word help. You don't have to know what comes next. You just have to know how to put one foot in front of the other. DM me the word help. You can also go to my website, sign up for my email list. That's free. A ton of free resources. You can also respond to one email. It's exactly what Mona did. And just write me the word help, right? That's it. I'll ask the questions. To leave you with one thing, there's hope. That's it. Shane, more than anything else, will tell you that this is not figure outable. Whatever you're feeling, you're right to feel what you feel. You're right to feel what you feel. I'm going to say this again. Whatever you are feeling, you are right to feel what you feel. Acknowledge what you feel is the first step. Approach what you feel with compassionate curiosity. I'm curious why I feel this way. And I promise you will get to where you need to be as long as you lead with compassionate curiosity.
Wow,
Love
that's
it.
beautiful.
Thank you so much.
That is absolutely beautiful. Thank you. And again, thank you for being here. It was wonderful. Maybe we'll do it again sometime.
I would love to do this again. It's super fun.
Absolutely.
Thank you
So,
so much.
with that, everybody, and I learned this: don't jump off of your
Yes, that's another thing
site.
about
Let your
Riverside.
things upload. Yeah, let your video and your audio upload. I didn't know that, and I was editing Danielle's when she was on, and
Gosh.
I'm like, where'd she go? There's like she's not on the video anymore. But
Riverside, it's such a pain.
yeah, you have to let it upload.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got to find something. I might go back to StreamYard. I don't know. I liked it, but then I didn't like it. Some things. My microphone never seemed to work. The green
I didn't
screen-
to be honest, to give you some credit, I didn't realize that Riverside had as many features as that you have used tonight. I have only used it
They
for
do.
one-on-one, and so for that, it's not worth
Oh
it.
yeah, no.
It's too glitchy, but I think for
Yeah.
what you're doing, I don't know, maybe it is the thing you
Yeah,
need.
maybe. I
Yeah,
love
bells-
the
bells
editing
and
side
whistles,
because I can
Mona.
do. Yeah, I've just got to learn. I've got to learn like why it doesn't go live right when I click live every time. It seems like we have to go back in two or three times.
Yeah.
So,
Constantly going, right?
but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But again, thank you to our audience tonight for watching. And remember, and sign up for the. I love your emails.
Oh, thank you.
I love them, and they're not
God,
long.
someone reads
They're-
them. Oh, thank you.
I do. You remind me so much of my drag father, Skylar Styles. It kills me. I just love it. It like you even sound like him. But anyway, yeah, I do. I read your emails and I love them. They're inspirational and they make you kind of think too. I like that. You know, I want to think at times. I want to be like, wait a minute.
Right?
Yeah,
Is this
it's
being
great.
recorded? If this is recorded, I can send an email out to my blast with a link to it if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's being recorded.
Cool. Yeah, send it to me.
Yeah, I will. But thank you again, and we will see you soon. Lots of love to you,
Good night.
and you have a great night.
Thanks,
Bye,
Eric.
y'all. Thanks for
Bye.
letting me be
Bye-bye.
here.
Yes, thank you. And there we are, the end of our broadcast. We went a little long because we started a little late,
That's
but
it.
it was a great night, wasn't it? Gosh,
Yes.
this goes by so quick.
I could have talked to him for another hour.
I
that.
could too. He
I hope
is
folks take
what a
advantage of
darling.
these services because it's so needed.
Yeah, people do it. Like, reach out to him. I mean, help. How he's the things that he said. I mean, I had chills and tears like how many times tonight? I don't even know.
I know.
Like just amazing.
And
Do you have
thank
anything you'd like to?
Thank you for what you do as well. I know you and I
Oh.
haven't known each other that long, but you've brought me on as some support and an extra
Absolutely.
resource. And this touches all of our hearts. You know, we all bring our personal stuff to the table.
Yeah.
So
We get to
thank-
empty out too at times.
absolutely.
It's nice.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But thank you for being a part of the new broadcast, and I appreciate it and love you dearly. And do you have anything you'd like to say on your way out?
Nature always finds a way, and so will we.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Love that.
Good
Love
night.
you. Good night.
Night.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. As I always say, love each other, love yourself, and be there for one another, especially through these trying times we are going through, because it is so much to deal with alone as it is. Don't add more to someone's life. You know, be there for them, be an encouragement, be a support for everyone. I love you all. Thank you for watching. Lots of love to you. Good night. Are you or someone that you know contemplating suicide, or perhaps planning to harm someone else? Or are you organizing a mass shooting? If so, please reach out for help at the nationwide hotline, the helpline at 988. That's right, you just have to dial 988 and a counselor will assist you in the help that you need. Call 988 now. Are you a victim of child abuse or know someone who is? Please notify someone at 1-800-for-a-child. Save a life. Make a change. Or are you or someone you love a victim of domestic violence? Call the people at the domestic abuse hotline at 800-799-SAFE. That's 800-799-7233.